Hello, hello, hello. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I understand that, we have people who have joined us today from the different time zone. So, I'll take a moment to welcome everyone to the most awaited event of SE Ranking, the Agency Growth Day. So, while looking at this topic, you might be thinking that, I mean, why? Why should you care about, the future of digital marketing? So, let me take you to an era which is 2020 and which is the era of COVID, right? So, since then, things have started changing. So, first, what happens is because COVID happened, there were lockdown and there were social distancing and a lot of other things, right? So what happened is that people who used to buy with a traditional mindset or a traditional process, right, that got completely changed. What happened is buyer's journey got messy. I mean, people have added more layers into their research, from how they research about a brand or how they come to know about a new brand, right? So that has completely changed. So this buyer's journey entirely became very, very messy. This is a beautiful diagram that explains the crazy journey that users have picked up after COVID from Google. So next is that because COVID happened, of course, because of all of other factors like lockdown and everything, the digital marketing became non-optional for the brands who have thought that they might be optional and they can just ignore that. But what happened is that the budgets shrank, and it was not very less, I mean, too much or less or something like that, but it really impacted across many regions, that it was getting difficult for marketers to convince the clients that why it is the right time to continue investing in digital marketing. Next, Google updates. I mean, Google updates went fast and furious, and I totally mean it, and I'm definitely sure that you are going to agree with me as well, because this was 2020. Look at 2021. I mean, we started getting a lot of Google algorithm updates, and almost every week we are listening that okay, there's some new Google algorithm update. And then this is 2022, and we are not yet stopping at all, right? So like Google updates also made us think that what we should be doing, what not, and what else. Next, of course, social media came to serve. I mean, of course, this is not new, but this happened, a few years ago, that, we saw Pinterest. Pinterest was the largest social media, who had the largest placement on, Google and any other search engines, right? But TikTok came really stronger. And of course, as I said, Pinterest. Another is, of course, Twitter as well. And we saw great case studies or the experiments by Brody Clark as well, where he explained that, how Twitter carousel started getting indexing and all of those things faster, right? So, next is that, short videos took all over the attention. I mean, I can give you more example of that, that even when I am on Instagram, I'm just keep on scrolling and scrolling. So yes, short videos took over all the attention, and this is the study by HubSpot, where 72% videos that are trending or people are consuming is short form videos. Next, what happened is that slowly and gradually we started seeing that US and UK economies were shaken up. I mean, that was so badly, though they are recovering, but it is something that has definitely impacted the way businesses operated, the way buyers used to buy or decide whether they want to go ahead with some brand, some product or not, right? Next was, of course, AI writing came full fledged. I mean, um, how would I say this? That, before that, it was something which we never thought of. But with ChatGPT and even now Bard, and there are a lot of other tools that have improvised on their AI algorithm to create better content, right? So there are a lot of content and a lot of news outside that it's something people started talking about, that okay, hey, whether this content is AI generated or not, right? So this has changed the entire industry completely. And of course, when AI writing came, then of course, then Google had started talking about that. Okay, when AI came, it was not full fledged. When ChatGPT was not full fledged, what happened is that Google was writing about that. Okay, AI generated content can be against the webmaster guidelines, but they changed from that to generating content using AI for manipulating rankings in SERPs is, against the webmaster guidelines, right? So Google also had to change that, with AI getting so full-fledged, so aggressive, so stronger, that at least they have to even, change their policies. Okay, then this is something that started recently, and there are a lot of, even I wrote a post, I guess, a month or two ago, where fintech startups, the early stage startups were getting more funding, but the unicorns or decacorns, they have seen lesser investments in their rounds. And this we clearly see from this study from Crunchbase, where we have clearly seen that, okay, from Q2 2022 we have seen a fall in funding globally. Next, of course, that because the funding has reduced, of course many other factors have happened, the economies were shaken, so that has again led to budget discrepancies, right? So what has happened is that if you look at this budget allocation, and this is a study from Gartner, here you can clearly see that SEO, search advertising, these channels have seen majority of decrease in getting investments or budgets, right? And when it comes to this, the study on my left, it is something where we have seen, when it comes to budget allocation, agencies are getting the least allocation, right? The least share of the budget that they have. So there is again a problem for us. And I don't think I need to explain this in detail, because this has covered, or this has taken everyone to the, Twitter and all other social media to just check, go test, follow all the SEO experts in the world to see what their opinions are, what they say about these perspective and search labs and many other things that search generative experience is bringing for us, right? So these were all the changes that happened in these few years, which has, changed our complete industry. So even all of that has even impacted that, we have started seeing that search features. I mean, this is something that I shared, I guess, on Sunday, right? And we have seen that almost Google has showcased an experience like a marketplace. Imagine the CTR that is going to get affected of any other marketplaces around such queries, right? So this is something that Google is updating their SERP features and everything like that. It becomes really daunting for us to keep up with them and just figure out that how are we going to update so that we get a good placement, good ranking on SERP features, right? With all of these changes, what has happened is that, in short, the world of digital marketing has gone upside down. Okay, so with such fluctuations in the buying decisions, unexpected algorithm updates, economies, and client budgets, it has become super duper difficult to maintain the balance. And that's where we have to think that what should we adapt to avoid falling behind, right? So I'll start with one very basic thing, which is something that you feel that, okay, stick to our values. It's very basic. Yes, it is basic. But what happens is that, when you see such challenges in the market, what happens is that you start feeling that, okay, you can change your policies, you can change your values. This is very, very normal, right? So, like, if you talk about values, I mean that you put on your about us on your website, right? So the values that you've created to give better customer service, or to have open and honest conversation and something like that, the values that you have evolved with time, right? So that is something which can be easier to compromise during such unexpected situations, right? But to be very honest, it takes courage to stick to it. So stick to it, because what happens is that that is going to get you long way, rather than taking up any projects or taking up anything that can affect your values in quality, in conversation, in anything, right? Next, play on your strengths. I always say this, that we should focus on playing on our strengths. So here, with strengths, I do not mean that it is your niche, right? It can be your niche, but here what I try to emphasize is that, for example, let me take an example from my own website. So this is something that showcases the content from my homepage. And what Missive does is that it is like content driven organic marketing services for B2B SaaS and ID companies, right? So here, our niche is B2B SaaS and IT, right? But when it comes to strength, our strength is content. Since our inception, we are being, into this market for 4.5 years. And I don't remember any single lead or inquiry that we have received it which is related to very technical SEO, or it is, someone has told me that, hey Himani, we want to get our schema codes rectified, or we just want an audit, or hey Himani, we just need some 200 backlinks. No, we have never received any such inquiries. So that this is the era where the buying journey has changed, even for our customers as well, right? So now what people are doing is, people go out and look out for specialized services. So when it comes to specialized services, they want to know what your core service, or what your core strength is, right? Whether it is content, whether it is tech, whether it is link building, whether it is social media, whether it is just content, anything, right? It can be anything. See, what you need to focus on is that playing on your strength, with avoid all the challenges that you might be facing for delivering quality services on other areas, right? Next, understand audiences better. Okay, let me give you a very simple example that, okay, very cute family, and in that family, there are various people with different age groups, right? Their psychographics can be different, their firmographics can be different, they can have different perspectives, mindset, everything, right? So how would you decide that, okay, who is my client's audiences, right? That is going to make a huge difference. Let me give you the first question that you need to ask: who decides to buy your clients' products and services? Okay, I'll give you an example with an ID company, right? We work with a lot of ID companies. So what has happened is that, when some ID companies come to us, we, for some of them, we find out that, okay, they have written great blogs, but their blogs, even they rank. I mean, their blogs rank on page one, but they are not able to get conversions, right? So the key element is conversions. They are going to say that, hey Himani, I get 100K organic traffic, but there is no conversion. I mean, these blogs are not performing and getting me money. So what am I going to do, right? So when we audit the content for, say, ID company, what has happened is that they have good traffic, but what they have done is their writers, or maybe they might have forgot to change the audience, right? So when it comes to audience, IT can have two audiences: CTOs, business owners, of course, and then developers as well, right? So if the competitors has made a mistake of writing a content, or even if their target audience is developers, but if your target audience is business owners, if you have written content for conversion purpose for developers, they are never going to convert. So you need to identify for whom you are creating your marketing strategy, because that will define the success as well. Next, who influences their buying decisions? So when it comes to buying decisions, of course, when I'll go to a showroom to buy a car, and if my son comes to me and tells me, hey mom, I like this red car, can you please check that out and let's buy that, and all of those things, right? So of course, as a mother, I'm not going to neglect that, because it is his choice, and I would and might prefer his choice, and might go out and tell that salesperson that, hey, I need to test drive this red car, right? So who influences the decisions of decision makers matters the most. Next, do you send the right message to the right audiences? Of course, like I said, that if you're convert the people who are going to make the decision of buying and the influence, if you don't talk according to their mindset, you are going to lose them. Okay, so focus only on experiences. So to be very honest, I'd like to bring in here very important point, which is this, right? When Google rolled out another extra E to EAT, right? That calls for experience. So experience here with this, Google wanted to explain that okay, experience when someone shares their real life experience, when they create a content and something like that. But experience does not include that. In experience can be anything, right? It can be the user experience of the entire website or an app, or from moving from one page to another. To it can be anything while they are consuming your content, like say if they are reading reading your blog, or they are consuming your case study or video or anything. How they have felt while consuming your content matters equally the most. And this is not just me who is saying this. John Mueller also says this, right? So, what he says is that, when it comes to the quality of the content, we don't mean like just the text of your articles, it's really the quality of your entire website. That indicates everything from the layout to the design. So, of course, work on the experiences of the entire website of your clients. So what happens is that your customers get happy because their customers are happy, right? Okay, look beyond keywords. Okay, now you might be questioning that, okay, but what, right? So this is something that I shared last month, which includes that we need to be prioritizing context, intent, and brand experience. So what does context mean? It is that what made your audience search for something today, right? What are they thinking of before searching something, right? That is the context that we need to understand whenever we want them to see something from our website, right? Which will define whether they are going to stay long with us or not. Next, intent. Intent is not just limited to informational, navigational, commercial, and transactional, to be very honest. Intent means that, why would they be interested in consuming your content, right? Are you talking about their pain points? Are you talking exactly about that person who wants to read the content? If yes, then and then only your queries that are on page one going to sustain there. Next is brand experience. Okay, can we be present and attract them for every search? Very, very important, because that is going to get them recall your brand again and again. So whatever your customers are, make sure their brand experience are brilliant. Okay, awesome. And stop going behind links. Don't give me that look. I'm just going to change it to just links, right? Okay, so stop going behind just links. Why am I saying that? Okay, Gary Ellis recently told that, when someone asked that, how much time would it take for their larger website to get indexed, right? He actually told that, the quality of the website is equally important, followed by its popularity, right? So, for example, your brand is too much popular, but that brand is not getting, like, say, 100,000 backlinks, right? Then what? Then, of course, the popularity will be considered for indexing, crawling, and ranking as well. So, just don't go behind links, because it is something that your brand mentions can also help. Your, brand popularity also helps, right? Okay, think omni-channel marketing. It is all about the consistent brand experience that you can give across all the channels, right? Because today it is something that you cannot just, if you're just into SEO, you cannot just rely on one channel, that okay, I'll stick to Google and I'll just see what Google can give me to, right? That is not going to help anymore. So what we have to do is that I came up with this term called remarketing SEO, and I delivered a session on that in Brighton SEO last year, right? So this exactly means omni-channel marketing. We have to identify the channels that can contribute to your channel. If you are into social media, you have to check how search can bring more people to your social media platforms, and vice versa. Here is just a quick idea of that, how a channel can contribute to other channels. Email marketing, of course, they can boost conversions, but they can also impact the boost in brand searches, right? Social media, of course, drives indexing. Very, very important. Yes, there are studies that have proved that if you consistently share on social media, they are going to get faster indexing, right? And of course, popularity. Paid ads, we know that it's all about boosting conversions, branding, and bringing repeat users to the website. Digital PR, Of course, that is also for driving visibility and popularity. So think omni channel, whichever channel you are from, you have to think that how you can make sure that you can connect all the dots in your marketing. Yes. I mean, this is something which I always tell to people that, put learning, curiosity, and creativity as the key KRs, not just for you, but even for your team and even for you as well. Because what happens is you are the role model of your team, right? They inspire from you, they motivate from you, right? So what you have to do is you have to also give enough time to make sure that you brainstorm with them what has come new. Maybe you can be curious, they can also learn such things from you and bring creativity as well. And of course, using AI and automation to bring efficiency in processes and time. Let me give you an example. Say, for example, we have created this internal process of creating content using ChatGPT, right? That saves a lot of our time. Then, social media announcements also, okay, if you give right prompts, of course, you can create many faster social media announcements. Even this, a very good Excel formula that I actually pasted and just made minor difference. And I was able to get the answer, and it was quite quick, right? So it is all about that we have to identify how we can improvise and bring efficiency in our processes and time. And at the last, I've asked a few experts to share their insights for agencies like us, right? So wow, here we have Benu Agarwal. She's the founder of Milestone, and she says that you should be focusing on connecting data across all the channels to make decision around spend. Absolutely, because data is going to make all the difference here. Think about converting content into entities. The discovery of content is super critical in omni-channel planet. Absolutely, we just discussed omni-channel marketing, and Benu says exactly the same. Focus on long tail, great for search generative experiences, right? So yes, the more queries that you are going to get the content for, maybe your chances for getting populated at search generative experiences as well. Next is, of course, Anthony Byrne, and he says this brilliant thing that aligning business goals to SEO strategy. So honestly, business owners doesn't care how many internal links you have done, how many meta descriptions you have written, and something like that. But it is something that that is not going to affect the business owners. What is what matters for audiences, that or maybe the clients, is that how much money I'm able to make and how many leads I'm able to generate, right? That's all. So definitely that is something that we should be focusing on. And even with the budget crunch, we might have to deliver more and better to our clients to make sure they sustain with us. Next, of course, Simon, he's someone whom I got this, great book personally signed by him at Brighton SEO. So it was something that, I just approached him and he messaged. And what he says that agencies need to keep costs down, generate new revenue, innovate, and most importantly, improve operational efficiency, right? And operational efficiency is not solved by slashing the number of employees. Very, very, very key important point, that you just slashing out the employees is not going to impact your operational efficiency. And of course, basically, we need to identify areas of the business ripe for automation. And we already have it, right? We have so many ways where we can include AI automation to just make sure that our processes and time is managed properly, right? And I would like to thank all of these three great experts who have took out time, and with less time left with the event, and they still agreed upon sharing their such great insights. I'm really thankful to them. And this comes to an end to my session.